Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here. This time reviewing on The Superior Spider-Man, issue number 6. Now, I'm sorry that I haven't been able to do the other issues. I've just been busy getting a lot of other reviews done and doing my multiple jobs. So, issue 6 is meant to feature Screwball and Jester, who are kind of meant to be this internet duo in this issue. And keep in mind, Screwball has appeared in the Marvel Spider-Man game, voiced by the same actress known for voicing Artemis. And the cover have Screwball and Jester messing up Spider-Man's picture, with Spider-Man looking on. And the issue mainly starts off with Jameson saying, "So I say, use a superpower in a crime, mandatory 10-year sentence." And we see how North Winters asks about the whole prison thing, which Jameson plans to shut down due to how many prison breaks and that had happened. And we see that Phil Urich, who's meant to be the nephew of Ben Urich, is a little ticked about having to kind of keep up the Hobgoblin persona while sort of handling multiple things, as well as dealing with the original Hobgoblin. We see how someone cuts out the feed, and we see that Screwball shows up saying, "And we're live! You're good to go, partner. Take the shot." "Confirm, we have multiple. Watch out!" And we see Jester getting ready to pie Jameson and saying, "You've been jested." And to answer our poll line, "Oops, box as it is." Aye. And we kind of see how he ends up getting humiliated, and everyone laughing while watching the sort of feed. And we see how Dr. Octavius ends up laughing and saying, "Oh, Jameson, that was priceless. I think I'll upload it on a loop." And we see how Spider-Man ends up meeting with Jameson, and it's kind of clear that even Glory Grant knows that Jameson is just sucking up to Spider-Man and knows he's doing it for good PR, with him saying, "Of course, now you may be wondering, you want me to apprehend Jester and Screwball?" "Yes." "Sorry, not worth my time. I've got better things to do." "But they humiliated me, and the office, in public." And we see how he brings up all the times he played pranks on him, and even Otto mentioning about Spider-Man webbing his glasses. And we see how he gets the Spider-Bots ready and wanting to help Jameson now. And we see how even the Avengers find Otto's behaviour strange, given the fact they don't know what really happened and that this isn't Peter Parker. And they decide to wait until something ends up out of the ordinary, even though Wolverine points out that most of them have made mistakes but haven't gone this far. And we see how Otto ends up at Empire State University, and we see how some jocks make fun of Anna Marie's car and saying, "Where are the other 20 guys? Maybe they're in the trunk." And we see how Peter looks a little ticked. And even Peter ends up going back into Dr. Ock's mind and seeing how Otto was bullied as a child. And we see how Otto wants to talk with Anna Marie about dealing with those guys, but we see how he has to kind of give a second chance to his professor, Dr. Lindsay. And of course, keep in mind that Otto isn't really a big fan of Dr. Lindsay back in his youth, and says, "Dr. Lindsay, that is exactly what I intend to do." And we see how Screwball and Jester plan to do their next big gimmick, even talking about raiding other people's accounts to get rich and that. And we see how Otto plans to kind of plan the next physics course he wants to do, but gets word on his patrol app and gets ready as Spider-Man. And we see how he wants to teach the two jocks a bit of a lesson first. And we see how Screwball and Jester plan to do their next big joke. But of course, we end up seeing Otto kind of take them on. But we kind of see how after fighting, he ends up going a little too far, and him saying, oh dear, miss, I assure you I had no intention of... And we kind of see how Screwball tries to throw balloons at him, and of course, this goes up going a little too far, and this causes Otto to get so furious. And we see how Anna Marie sees what happened to the car and the two guys inside the trunk, so trying to call 911. And we see how Otto tries to kind of take on Screwball and Jester, but it ends up going way too far, and much like Massacre, ends up kind of taking things way more far than he should. And this is where you can tell when Peter gets back into his Jiminy Cricket role, he ends up seeing what Otto's done, saying, "My God, Otto! Well, this is your last chance. What do you have to say for yourself?" And this is where you can kind of tell Peter is shocked beyond words that he just ended up mercifully beating the crap out of two supervillains who never really did anything wrong. Diz did online pranking, showing that, yeah, he's gone way too far now. And yeah, this is the story. So I think issue 6 tries to be good, but it just kind of becomes clear that Otto is a complete loose cannon. Keep in mind, Screwball and Jester aren't really villains. They're just people doing online pranks and stuff to get attention. And keep in mind, much like Massacre, they're just people who needed help, showing that Otto doesn't care who he hurts just to prove a point, or show no concern or care for anyone else. So I think this issue deserves a thumbs in the middle. It's kind of alright, but kind of okay. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.